All right, this is Sports for Real. I came on today just for a few minutes to, matter of fact, let me spin it around just in case somebody is listening. And I can, dolled up here for the national audience here. All right. I don't want that in there. All right. Again, this is Sports for Real. I came on for a minute. I just did a Zoom live, and I am not sure if the Zoom live got out like it was supposed to. So what I wanted to do was come on and just highlight real quickly what I talked about on the Zoom, just in case it did get out. There's a sports columnist in the Jacksonville area, Mark Woods. He has proposed a jar technique for the Jacksonville metropolitan area, the surrounding counties, to put money in a jar to help finance the Jaguars stadium project. Sounds laughable at first, but when you think about it, it's actually a pretty good idea. Also backed up by the fact that this has been done before. Back in 1996, in the city of Denver, they proposed the Metropolitan Stadium Act, where they would take funding from the tax rolls inside a certain district to fund this particular project that they will call the Broncos District. And how that worked, what they did was they took 1/10 of 1% of the money from this particular 7-county district, and they contributed a fund that was to begin in 2001, and it ran to 2012, where they were going to contribute to the acquisition of land, building the stadium, and then managing the stadium. And over that process, they were able to gain millions of dollars. Even so, that when the Broncos wanted to upgrade their stadium not long ago, it was a $100 million project, they were able to contribute $12 million of that. The rest of that money came from financing the Broncos got from the G4 financing plan that they have through the NFL. Which leads to the idea of why can't these NFL owners with all their deep pockets pay for all these upgrades and stuff themselves? Well, the problem with that is, like here in Jacksonville, the city owns the stadium. So why should Shad Khan pay for the whole thing when he doesn't even own the stadium? When their lease runs out, who's to say that they couldn't get another team to move in and take the Jaguars' place? So it's only good business for a guy like Khan to make sure that the Jaguars pony up too. Secondly, I think he's roasting the Jaguars because some of those projects he wanted to do didn't get done. So he's playing hardball. So you want to play hardball with me? I got you guys over a barrel, because if you don't get this deal done, I'm going to take my team to London, where they already have a stadium already ready to go. So he wants the city to pay $1 billion. That's an awful lot of money. But over a period of time, you know that the Jaguars or the city is going to make that money back. And it's also similar to what the Bills paid when they when they started building their new stadium now. And if you didn't know, they finally got a deal done in Buffalo after years and years and years, but it's going to cost $1.4 billion, similar to what the Jaguars are going to have to pay. But in that deal, New York and the city of Buffalo took over $900 million of that. The other $500 million is contribution from the team and the NFL. So again, these deep-pocketed NFL owners can reach into their pocket and just sign off on the whole thing, kind of like what Jerry Jones did and own it. But because the city owns these stadiums, it's not so easy to do. So with this jar technique, this 1/10 of 1%, you can raise a lot of money. Kind of like what the school districts is doing here in Duval, where you're taking a 1 cent sales tax, and they're supposed to raise like $1 billion over 10 years. So you know there's a lot of money there, because it's not just the city of Jacksonville. The 5 counties in the OMB metropolitan area for Jacksonville, which includes St. John's, a very expensive and growing St. John's, and Nassau, they're growing and expensive too. So there's money all around this metropolitan area. It wouldn't take long at all for this district to take place. But if it is to take place here in Jacksonville, then it's going to have to be approved by the Florida legislature. and they probably call it the Jaguar district, much like they did in Denver when they called it the Broncos district. And that will probably solve all of the financial woes for the city of Jacksonville trying to get this deal done. But it's much needed, especially the coverings of the renderings of that stadium, where they're going to have coverings over the fan area. And that would be very important, especially in August when the heat is almost unbearable. You just take this past year alone, those first couple games when it was seeming like 100 degrees, there's no protection for the fans. If your hat's not good enough and you don't have enough water, you just might pass out. And there were a lot of paramedics under the stands tending the fans during those first couple of games. So upgrade would be greatly needed for this particular stadium. Especially, it's monkey see, monkey do. Tennessee, they're building one, and like I say, Buffalo's got one, and then somebody else is going to start building shortly after that. So before you know it, everybody's going to have one, and Jacksonville is going to get left out in the cold if they don't get this deal done, because he's going to take that team and go to London, and that's going to be end of sports franchises in Jacksonville for at least 50 years, if not more. But like I say, the NFL, the way football is going now with this we can play the game, but you can't touch me mentality. Nobody wants to see that. We want to see somebody get hit. And if we're going to blow the whistle every time somebody looks like they might get hit hard, then it's going to lose interest. Nobody wants to see flag football. A 300-pound lineman playing flag football. That's just not feasible. But I also talked about that the Broncos, mentioning the Broncos, they picked up Zach Wilson from the Jets. I don't know what Sean Payton's got up his sleeve, but I think he's got some ideas about what he wants to do with the draft, which starts tomorrow. But I don't know if Wilson is the answer right now. Wilson kind of reminds me of Mitch Trubisky. You might want to sit him on the bench another year or two to see what, how he can develop. And that's kind of what the Jets had in mind. But all that plan went out the window when Aaron Rodgers got hurt last year. And you had to thrust him out there, and he didn't do much better than he did the first time. So they had a good defense, and he kind of wasted that. And now he's going to Denver, and I don't know what Peyton's going to do. He had a quarterback in Russell Wilson. He wanted to run him off and mistreat him. Now you got a guy that's shown that he can't play. So how long is it going to be before Peyton says, well, man, I wish I would have kept Russell Wilson. I didn't know what I had. Well, it's too late for that now, genius. You trying to embarrass the man and do the things to him that you never would do to Drew Brees. Now you got Zach Wilson coming in. So it's going to be interesting to see how he treats Wilson. But I think Peyton's still a good coach, and I think he's got good ideas. He'll find a way to make that team competitive. He had a good turnaround after being destroyed by the Dolphins early in the year, and he's a pretty good coach, and I think he'll get it turned around. But we'll see. But speaking of the Broncos, again, they picked up Levi Wallace, the cornerback out of Pittsburgh. And for the life of me, I don't know why he would want to leave Pittsburgh to go to the Broncos, especially now when Pittsburgh is on the cusp of reaching the Super Bowl again. They played the Ravens twice last year, and they beat the Ravens twice. As good as the Ravens were doing, they still can't beat Pittsburgh. They're just one of those teams like they just can't shake. They just know how to defend against the Ravens. And with Wallace, he had a chance to keep growing with the Steelers and maybe reach the Super Bowl, but now he's pretty much going to be starting over, because maybe the Broncos will improve, but they're not going to improve that much. But the only saving grace he has is about this much difference between the worst team in the NFL and the best team. And eventually, the luck's going to run out for Patrick Mahomes. He's not going to get everything to break his way. But when it comes time to standing there and throwing it when he has to throw it, then Mahomes is going to be hard to beat. So I know all you Baltimore Raven fans out there, everybody's Jackson, Jackson, Jackson. But like I told you before, it's going to come a time when Jackson's going to have to stand in there and throw the football. And every time that time has come up when he has to make a play, he hasn't made it. So I expect the Ravens, even with Derrick Henry, they're going to run the ball and they're going to look great in the regular season. But what you're not going to see is those guys in the background putting together a secret plan to take down the Ravens in the playoffs. But you don't have to look far, because I've been telling you for the last couple of years. If you stop the run, keep Jackson from escaping that pocket and make him stand in there and throw it where he has to throw it, now the Ravens got a problem, because again, he hasn't shown he can do that. But I am waiting for the day that he proves me wrong. because I like the guy. He's very athletic, and all of that, all the accolades he gets from everybody, that's well deserved. But can you throw the ball when you have to? That's all I want to know. But like I said, did the Zoom live, and I don't know, I never get any feedback from that, so I don't know if that actually goes through or not. So this is just to come back to talk about what I said before earlier on the Zoom. But got to go to my real job now, so I just want to get that out there. So all you people out there in sports land, you have a great day. This has been Sports for Real. Got some new stuff coming down for you, so subscribe, hit that notification bell, so every time I drop something, you'll be in the loop. So this has been Sports for Real. Have a great day.